When you get Xfinity Internet, Flex is included free, and finding what to watch on TV is now as easy as popcorn. This is a way better way to watch.
Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to get a great offer on internet and add Flex for free. Restrictions apply.
Join the Washington football team at FedEx Field for our second home game of Kickoff Week 2021 as we take on the New York Giants in a Thursday Night Football NFC East matchup. Great seats are available starting at $45. Visit WashingtonFootball.com/tickets to purchase official team tickets. The season starts here.
Hello and welcome to JasonNewland.com. My name's Jason Newland and this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. Your eyes. Hello. How you doing, man? My initial attempt, if I'm honest, was to stream this both on Instagram and on Facebook. But it never happened properly. It didn't go together correctly. I don't know why. So Facebook it would stream live on the MacBook, from the MacBook, but it was just a blank screen. Instagram was groovy to do the live stream on the phone. Very frustrating. Now, Boston Chickie, hi Boston, and hi Christopher. I think Boston Chickie, you know how to stream to more than one platform at the same time. So I know you do because I've seen you do it. I know, I've been watching you. I'd like to be able to know how to do it. If it's possible to do it on the phone, on the iPhone. To just make one stream and to have it streamed live to, I guess, only 3 platforms really that I would go for, because YouTube, at the moment, I'm unable to do live video on YouTube. I don't have that facility because I've not got enough subscribers. But I guess Facebook, Twitter and Instagram to start with. That would be the 3 places that I'd like to stream, because what I'm thinking is to do a live, basically filming me making the podcast, if that makes sense. So you're not going to get necessarily the sound quality that you'll get on the podcast, because all this stuff is set and connected to the iPad. And so Twitter, well, that was a weird noise. Twitch.tv. Okay, does that shares it with? Oh, great! Software update tonight, and will be installed. That's nice. Thanks, iOS. TikTok. Sorry, TikTok. That doesn't share to. Does that share to Facebook and Instagram? But TikTok, you can only do. Isn't it like small videos, like those short things? If there's one thing I don't do, there's one thing I'm not well known for, is making short videos. Not my thing. No. Short videos. I just remembered why I don't like doing Facebook streams. It's because you've got that number at the top of the screen that's so low. If you gain 1,000 followers on TikTok, you can go live. Wow, I didn't know that. 1,000. But isn't it all like little kids on there? I mean, I don't really go on there. think I did look at it once, but I don't know. I don't think my audience are... I can do live chat on there and graduate to 3-minute videos. Okay, this is. I'm talking to Boston Chickie, by the way. I forget I'm doing a podcast. Hi, podcast listeners. And the reason I'm asking this is because Twitch. Christopher says you're better off with Twitch. And you can do that on your phone, can you? On the iPhone. Because that's something that, for some reason, I can't get my head around the MacBook. Now, I know the camera seems to be a lot better on the iPhone. And, oh, it does. Okay. I'm going to do that then. Thank you. So, Boston and Christopher both mentioning that. John says, hello, Mr. Newland. Hello. Christopher says, at least you can on Android. Boston Chicky says, yes, you can. Right, I'm gonna have a look at that. Not now, because I've already started, so I shall finish, as all my girlfriends in the past would testify. Rather too quickly, usually. So Debbie says, hi Jason. Hi Debbie. Hey. It's really weird. It's really, because I've got 4 people listening or 4 people watching, and I feel it's nice that anyone's watching, I guess, but it feels it's like there's 2 opposite worlds. So there's me doing this video, doing a stream on Facebook with less people than I can fit on my hand. Okay, I couldn't fit people on my hand, but you know what I mean. There's like 5 people watching the video, and there'll be thousands of people listening to this podcast when it's released. It's like, whoa. It's just really weird, because it used to be the other way around. Boston will tell you. It used to be the YouTube videos where I was dominant, not dominant. I was top heavy with videos rather than podcasts. Although I've been doing podcasts since 2000 and maybe 2006, but definitely 2007. So I remember in January 2008 being all excited because I'd reached 100,000 downloads on my podcast that I had at the time. And I was like, yeah, 100,000 downloads. John says, my name is Jason Newland and will come. Well, I'm glad I have a variety of different effects on people. I'm happy to be of service. I had to take my glasses off because they were shining. There's so much, I mean, it's good there's light in the room and that, but it was proper shining, and if anything, it distracts me from what I'm doing. And you know what? Making the stream distracts me from the podcast that I'm supposed to be making. But I'm still making a podcast, but I feel like I'm not talking to the people listening, and I'm talking to the people watching. It's weird. I'm trying to get my head it's not the first time I've done it. I've done it loads of times. I just haven't done it for quite a while. It's got to be a good couple of years since I last did a live Let Me Bore You to Sleep. It's got to be, I reckon, 2019 since I last did that. Because I've been doing these for over 3 years now. 4 years in March, I think it will be. Wow. This is number 725 of the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I don't know if anyone's watching or listening that was here at the beginning. Boston says, I've distracted you. Oi, don't make fun of my lisps. Sometimes I think it sounds like I'm making fun of, like I'm doing a stutter, like joking, but I do have a stutter that comes on. It's like I can't get the word out. And maybe part of that is because even though when I make the podcast, it's not live, it still is live, if you know, it's still the conversation. I don't edit the podcast, change around what I've said and edit out things I've said. I don't do any of that. The only editing I do on my podcast is I take off the very beginning, the bit where I'm swearing, and just like, you know, do the volume so it just kind of comes in, and the exit at the end bit where I'm like farting and stuff. So I take that bit out, and then I try and even out any bits that are a bit too loud. Try and get them down a little bit so that it doesn't, you know, pop and doesn't make too much noise, and then increase the volume a bit to the point where it sounds good enough, but it's loud enough, hopefully. So that's what I do. That's the only editing I do on my podcasts. I don't, as I said, I don't edit it in a way of trying to make myself sound better. And I think that's evident, because if I was editing my podcasts, especially the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, in order for me to make myself sound good, I'm clearly not doing a very good job, am I? Boston says, leave the swears in. No. John says, great to see you live again. Thank you, John. I do swear sometimes on the podcast, but I try and keep it family friendly, if you know what I mean, which is weird considering some of the top... Oh man, just dropped the headphones on the floor. You know what? It's soon going to be time to do a little vlog, a Jason Chats vlog, because I haven't done one for a while, have I? And give you a little tour, because I got a new desk. In fact, I've got two, but I've only put one up. But my setup is... Actually, it's a bit messy at the moment, but it's kind of... I've got it all, because I had the MacBook there, and I've got all ready to do 2 streams at the same time. But normally, it's a lot tidier. So, I will do a little vlog. I don't know why, but when I see Boston on the screen, it reminds me. Oh, Boston, don't go. Boston Chickie's going, everyone. Check out Boston Chickie's YouTube. Go and add her on Facebook as well. It's Boston, as in Boston, and Chickie, Chickie. We've been like travelling partners, haven't we? Boston, she's going to say she's going now. I think she's probably working. I can't always say what I'm in my mind when I think things. But here's something that I found. This is for the purpose of the video, but for those on the podcast, I've been tidying up today. Been tidying up my flat, and it's put me in quite a good mood. I don't know why. Something about tidying. I'm not a big tidier, and it looks messy. It looks basically like I've just gone and found a dustbin somewhere outside and brought it in and just poured it all over the floor. But I haven't. Boston Turkey, is it? Yeah, it's Boston Turkey. Check out Boston Turkey. Boston. When I'll tell you a little bit of thing about Boston. Oh, Debbie says, I love that you speak so slowly, Jason. Bye, Boston. Thank you, Debbie. I don't know. Do I still speak slowly now when I do the Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcasts? I know I do when I do the hypnosis stuff. I'm not really a quick talker. I have my moments, to be fair. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just, I get a little burst of, I don't know. I kind of think of it. It's not that my brain doesn't work. It just moves a bit slower. Debbie says, yes, except when you get excited about your stats. Oh man, I tell you, I can't help it. I think the only people, I'm trying to give an example of what it would be like for someone that doesn't do what I do. I don't know. It's just because I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing this stuff since 2006, so it's a long time, and to see the podcasts grow in the way they are, and to now be getting, because I used to get 100,000 downloads a year was I thought that was brilliant. I was really pleased with that. And now I'm getting more than 250,000 a month. I had 91,000 downloads last week. And it's just, I don't know, I'm excited about it. And I know that it's not very exciting to hear about. And trust me, I tell people I know in real life, and I see their eyes glaze over. They're not interested. They don't want to hear about it. But what am I supposed to do? This is my life. This is kind of all I do. I do other things. I might go to the toilet and stuff. I'm doing that right now, in fact. Oh, this is just to remind you, I've got this dicta machine. Just gonna remind myself. Remember to change my underpants after the podcast finishes. Okay, so that's quite good to just I found this while I was going through my stuff. It was in the cupboard, and I can use that, because I get ideas, and sometimes I can't be bothered to write it down. And maybe I'm watching a TV show or a YouTube video, or maybe I'll be lying in bed thinking of things. Yeah, so I sometimes, that might be quite good to have that little dicta machine, and sort of just to remind me of stuff that maybe I need to do, or something that maybe an idea, maybe an idea for a new podcast. Like I haven't got enough podcasts. But Debbie, does that make sense about the stats? It's just, I think if I didn't have any interest in what I'm doing, I wouldn't do it. Because there's not really, over the last 15, 16 years, there hasn't been a lot in it for me. There's been nothing in it financially. There's been nothing. It's cost me probably about £30,000, maybe £35,000 over that time to provide this service, with all the equipment and the ongoing subscriptions and online stuff and all the different things. So it's taken, and also forgetting the time, the thousands and thousands of hours that I put into it as well. And it's almost like suddenly things are starting to, I mean, it's always been going quite well in a way. I've got 2 people watching now. It's me and you, Debbie. Me, you, Debbie, and Christopher. That's it. Never mind. We'll make do. Debbie said you should be proud of yourself and your stats are interesting, really. Still sounds a little bit sarcastic, I'm not sure. I find them interesting, but you know what? I did have someone say to me, I've had enough of listening to your stats. They sent me a message saying, I like your podcast, but I'm going to come back when you've got the stats out of your system. It's like, blimey. I try not to. If I do, I guess I do talk about the stats maybe fairly regularly, but I try and keep it like to a minimum. Well, this is what I've done. I suppose I'm trying to take you along on the journey with me. Does that make sense? Just some people have been following me. Still sounds weird, following, but they've been listening to my stuff for over a decade. Some people, hard to believe, but there are people out there. I wouldn't say the majority. I'm sure some people listening to this for the first time today, for the last time possibly, who knows. But I feel that this is kind of like a weird middle-aged man's journey. And bear in mind, I was quite young when I started this. I was only 35. I was 35. I'm now 51. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I just can't. I can't process it. Really struggling to process aging. And it's not like that I can't believe it. And then I look in the mirror and okay, I can believe it. It's, yeah, of course I'm looking older, and I kind of don't care really in a sense. But I also do. Oh, Darby. Hey, Darby, we like stats. Oh, thank you, Darby. Darby Lee wants to be in the video. You can be in the video if you want. Do you really want to be in a video, Darby? Just check first that you do. But the thing is, because I'm doing a podcast, I'm not sure how the sound will be. But if you want to say hello, you can. I don't know. I've only done that once, I think. Debbie says, well, listening to your stats actually keeps me awake. So there you go. I can try and add someone to the video. Shall we do? Carol, hi Carol, not heard you for a while. Hello there. Hi Carol. Hi. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. I haven't done one of these for, actually, the last time I did a live stream, I don't know if anyone watched it or was watching it live, was when I was in Cornwall. I think I did 2 live streams. I think. But they'd be on Facebook. When was that? About 2 months ago. Yes, was it September? Probably July, maybe end of June. Something like that. It was kind of that time. Darby says it's all good. Not heard you for... Yeah. We can try and do a live thing if you want. If you want to just see. Let me just have a look, see if it works. Let me see. Carol says, yeah, I saw you in Cornwall. Hope you had a good holiday. Well, it was a weird one. I think, in all fairness, I was probably not in the best space in the world to be around people. I'm not the best to be around people anyway. I'm a very solitary person. But Andre had just died. Not just that second, I didn't. But for like about 3 weeks, I think, he'd gone. And I did need, and all I was going on about was I need to get away. And I said it to my friend, and she said, well, come away. I'm going on holiday and on Saturday. And I think this was on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So she said, come with me. Darby says, I don't want to be in the video. Oh, sorry, did you not want to be? Okay. I didn't know if you're too shy. No, it went on there. It came up saying Darby wants to be in the video. That's what it said on the screen. And a thing lit up. You're too shy. I will boop why too. Hey, that's a flashback. Darby, don't worry, I'm shy as well. Am I shy? I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I'm pretty quiet as a person. I'm not. Am I? I don't know. But anyway, I needed to go. I needed to get away. But I think what I needed was to get away on my own. And so basically, I went away with my friend. I thought I didn't know if I should or not. And then I thought, okay, I'll do it. She wasn't in a good space. She had her mum with her, and her mum was ill pretty much the whole time we was there. And we really didn't get on very well. Like, nobody really got on very well. There was a lot of niggles and nagging and moaning, and it was quite weird. There were some nice times. There was, but it was a whole week. It was a very long week. And then, like, one by one, we all got ill. I ended up getting a cold. And then, so her mum got a cold and was actually bedridden for a few days. But on the first day of the holiday, on the Sunday, I think, her and her mum had a bit of a heated conversation. And it was personal stuff, but they took it public. They took it, they started like talking about stuff, and I didn't really know what they were talking about, but it's just family dynamics and stuff that I'm not really used to. And then I got a cold. I was coughing a bit for a few days, and you don't want to cough in the current climate. You don't want to be in public coughing. And then on the news, all we were hearing was Cornwall. The coronavirus is Cornwall was the capital of the UK of the coronavirus growing again. It was like, oh, brilliant, we're in a really good place here. And here's me coughing. And then I got a cold, my first cold in over 2 years. And it was just a cold. I did a corona test, and it wasn't, and her mum did it, and it wasn't, so it was just a cold, just a normal, common cold, and I hadn't had a cold for over 2 years, and it was so weird, such a strange sensation to be sneezing and coughing and all the other stuff that goes with a cold. And it was just, I don't know, I feel I was almost too scared to get a cold for the last 2 years. I think probably a lot of people have been like that. And the journey home was just hard work because I was unwell. Our mum was starting to, I think, feeling a lot better because she got ill at the beginning of the week, and I was ill at the end of the week. Hi, Angela. For those, I was going to say for those joining the podcast, but you wouldn't be. Let's suppose you fast forwarded to this point. The I'm streaming it live, as I'm basically streaming the podcast recording live. And also for those watching as well, and those watching later after the stream's finished, the microphone I got here is for the podcast, so you're just getting the audio from the iPad, the iPhone. Does that make sense? Now, if someone knocks on the door, I'm going to end the recording. I can pause the podcast, but I can't pause the live stream, so I'll have to end the live stream. So apologies to that, but I don't want to tell. I'm just letting you know. It's not really that important, is it? It's like, oh my god, I can't handle things anymore. I was watching a live stream and it ended really quickly. A lot of things end quickly with me. I was whistled. Did you hear that? Quickly. You know, someone actually complained years ago about me whistling when I talk. And you know what? That's what amazes me, is if you're going to listen to me. Christopher says, who would knock on your door this time of night? The Easter Bunny. No, it's just a friend. Sometimes we go for a walk. I don't know what time of night it is. He walks his dog, and I go for a walk with him. It's quite nice to get out, especially this time of the year. It's really cool. It's nice. There's no one around because his dog doesn't really get on with other dogs. Is there only 5 people watching? Carol, you know what? I don't understand it. I mean, we all know what a superstar I am. How can there only be 5 people? But I've had at least 15 people say hello to me on air. So I don't know. I get a little bit it's not good for your ego, to be fair, doing a live stream. I mean, it's different for people, Katy Perry, you know, I mean, people that are famous, they'll have like hundreds of thousands of people. But it's like 6. Melissa says, I just popped on, love listening to Jason's live. Thank you. Do you listen to the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, or do you listen, which ones do you listen? Just Melissa, what podcasts do you listen to, if any? I am interested actually in, because I do get some feedback, but not a huge amount, and it's nice, you know. Debbie says, normally miss your live streams, big time difference. Yeah. Melissa says, I just listen. Is there any specific podcasts that you like? The Let Me Bore You to Sleep, Deep Sleep Whisper, Relax and Sleep Hypnosis Daily. What other ones do I do? I love listening to you talk and your ideas and some things. Thank you. It must be the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Yeah. Isn't it? I know it's, well, not strange, but the most positive feedback I've got on any podcast I've ever done is the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Debbie, Carol, Darby. However, they're not the most popular It's not the most popular podcast. The Deep Sleep Whisper one is more popular, I think. However, I do share the Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcasts on some other podcasts, and they're more popular on those podcasts than they are on the actual podcast itself. So, but they've grown. I'm talking about stats again, aren't I? On the podcast itself, the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, I used to get about 300 downloads a day, or just on that podcast. But then I get like 3 overall I get about 1,000 downloads a day spread out over the different podcasts for the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, I just banged the microphone, for each episode. But now on the Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcast itself, I'm now getting 5, 6, sometimes 700 downloads just on per day, just on that podcast. It's weird. I just don't get it. I'm talking about stats again. Christo says, have you ever been into ASMR? Love the piggy bank. Okay, thanks, Carol. I literally just put that bookcase together. Well, not the bookcase together, but put all those books on there, and I realised as I'm looking at the screen, you can't see any of the books. You can see them, but I can't see any of the titles of the books. But the piggy bank, my brother bought me that, my little stepbrother, and you know, it looks big. It is big. You know, sometimes like things are in the distance. Like I'm like, is it big? Is it close? It is actually a big old thing. I reckon, if that was pound coins, you could probably, I reckon you could put £500 in there, maybe £1,000. It's a big old thing. It's never been more than about £3.50 so far. Okay, Christopher, this is two people who answer this. Christopher, have you ever been into ASMR? I used to do whisper back in 2000 and pretty much from the start, when I did the relaxation and sleep sessions, I would end, so I'd get quieter and quieter and quieter, and then maybe end up like almost whispering. And then I started doing it more near the end, about 2011, maybe 2012, 2011. I lose track of what day, And then I moved in 2011, and people started asking me, would I do ASMR videos? Because I was kind of already doing them, in a sense, but just whisper. So I started doing it. So like 10 years ago, I started doing whisper videos. And I'm not into ASMR necessarily myself, but I do get a bit of the tingles. I'm a very auditory person, not very visual. I'm visual when it comes to naked women. Oh, that's terrible to say. No, I've got visual. I do like watching like a good movie with special effects and stuff like that. I'm visual on that level. But your dog just fell asleep. Brilliant. I tell you, it's what I do have the most boring voice. I was actually talking to someone last night downstairs in my friend's place, and the bloke I was talking to fell asleep in front of me. He's like, now he was very tired, but I'm very auditory, which means that here's an example. I'm talking about women now. There's this lady that I met when I was a DJ, and she gave me a number. I gave her mine, and then she said, we ended up chatting like a normal conversation, and then it started to get night. Like it was probably early evening, maybe 8, 9 o'clock. And my room was right close to the next room. A lot of rooms are quite close together, aren't they? But I knew that they would probably hear me, and I didn't want to disturb them because they were going to bed. I'd be up all night sometimes. They'd be going to bed because I had to get up at like 6 in the morning or something. So I was talking to her, and it was a normal conversation. And then I started like talking less and started whispering. And we were whispering to each other. And then it got the conversation went in a very different direction, and it's only then that I realised that whispering was that I liked it. But that's a kind of, I guess, an intimate situation. Not that interested, I guess, listening to people brushing their hair or tapping stuff. But then I've never really listened with headphones to that stuff. But I know that if someone in an intimate I don't mean like, just generally intimate. If someone's kind of just touching you or tapping on your head like that, intimate stuff, romantic stuff, like, that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, it feels nice. I can hear it. It's like, oh. I'm not sure. For me, the things that I like to listen to that do make me feel good inside, but doesn't necessarily make me feel, it does stimulate my brain in a nice way, is the sound of the weather, like wind, the rain on the window. When I was a kid, I used to really love lying in a tent, listening. I did, it's weird. Everyone else was annoyed because we were on holiday and it was raining, but I used to love lying in there listening to the rain coming down on the top of the tent. So I guess that was an ASMR experience, and it was blissful. For me, it was blissful because I guess there was no one else around, because they were all out sheltering somewhere else. But they didn't, I think I just stayed in. And stayed in. It's not really staying in when you're in a tent, is it? But, And I was antisocial even then. It felt really nice. If you're going to do that, though, lay down in your own tent. Because I got kicked out. It's like, well, there's more room in yours. Yeah, but, go back to your own tent, mate. Where is your parents? Where are your parents? Why aren't they with you? Christopher says, I was on I can't even read the writing. I've got an eye test this week. I have. I was on lambertrigine for bipolar and never got tingles. Now I don't take it anymore. I get tingles. Ah. I can't see what else has been written. If I click it, will it come up? No, I can't get to see what else she wrote. I don't know. I mean, anything that any medication. Any medication has an effect on our brain, but then everything we eat, everything we say, everything we see, everything we do has an effect on our brain, doesn't it? But medication, it's going to have an effect. So I don't know. I don't know really much about the side effects of medication. Ever since I was given some medication, probably about 10 years ago, and the first, and I looked at the possible side effects, and the first one was may cause instant death. And I thought, I'm going to stop reading that. So I don't read it anymore. I was like, why? Don't put that idea into my head. Why would you? Why? But that's just me. Melissa says, lamotrigine. Lamotrigine. Or trigine. Lamotrigine. I know some people, it's all Latin, isn't it? Isn't it all come from Latin, the words for the medication and stuff? Because they usually have a meaning. Well, I suppose everything has a meaning, doesn't it? Technically. I can't see how long I've been talking for. Oh yeah, 44 minutes. Try Gene. You try Gene. Don't want to try Gene. Don't have to. And Christopher says, I heard that ASMR is a kind of pleasurable seizure. Wow. I've never seen those two words put together, to be fair, Christopher. Pleasurable and seizure. I've never seen it in the same sentence. Especially not that close together in a sentence. I don't know. Genuinely, yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know what to say to that. I don't know. I really don't. It doesn't strike me as being something that okay. Lambertine, it's an anti-epileptic drug. Yeah, my Depakote, or I forget the name of it, but it's Depakote, and that was also an anti-epileptic drug. It's they realised that, or whoever, I don't know, specialists with the people, they gave it to people for epilepsy, and they realised that they were more stable, you know, within themselves. And it was because epilepsy is the two parts of the brain, I forget the name of it, basically, being unstable. So basically the epilepsy drug makes both sides stable. That's why with some people really, really serious epilepsy, well, I don't know if there's any non-serious, but with like that are having seizures all the time, they separate the brain, the right and left hemisphere, and the person no longer has seizures because they both need to be connected. So basically, it's like an electrical overload, really, isn't it? It's kind of like a power outage or power overload, like the brain having an electric shock kind of thing. I've seen two people have seizures, one at school, and then there was my friend. We was in Bulgaria, and he had a seizure in the airport. Just as we were waiting for the plane. We weren't there for the food. We were waiting for a plane. It was an airport. I suppose it's self-explanatory. But we were waiting for a plane, and he was just sitting next to me. And suddenly, he was on the floor. Well, he wasn't. I mean, he was still sitting on the chair, but I pushed him on the floor because I was embarrassed. So I left him there. And then eventually someone came and... no, I didn't. I went and got a doctor. And I panicked. I absolutely panicked. I didn't know what to do. See, I wasn't... There was people with us. There was a group of us. And I wasn't... not really a first aid person. I'm more... find someone to do it. If that makes sense. I didn't know what to do, really. I've had first aid training, but the first aid training's changed, because when I was young, because I used to be in the Sea Cadets, we had first aid training. Then I went to college, catering college, had first aid training. So I kind of had first aid training twice. Or 3 times, because when I worked at a charity, I had first aid training as well. But that was more recent, about 10 years ago. Oh, wow. Blimey. It's weird, isn't it, when you get so old that recent can literally be last decade. Wow. Anyway, I did leave him on the floor, but he was, I didn't push him off the chair. He fell on the floor. But there was like I think about 6 of us, so they were kind of looking after him. I was running through the airport, like, I guess I must have looked like I was almost like I was on fire, but invisible fire. I was like, I must have been running around, absolutely didn't know what to do. And what I did is I was screaming, "Is there a doctor? Is there a doctor? I need a doctor." And I was like, "No, I don't need a doctor, but my friend needs a doctor." And I thought, well, I shouldn't be giving too much information out. I just want to is there a doctor? I don't have to explain myself to each and every person. And there was a doctor, and he came over, and he I'll be honest, I don't think he wanted to get involved, but he did, and he just came over, and then the security came out. This was in 2002. So security was, as Christopher just pointed out, what he's mentioning there, that he remembers, security was higher in 2002. It started to increase a lot at that point. And originally they weren't going to let him on the plane. And they did first aid, and they gave him drugs and stuff to calm him down and to mellow him, or I don't know, sedate him or whatever it was. And they said, well, he can travel, and when you get to Stansted Airport in London, you will be greeted at the other end by the security there, and they will make sure that you get medical attention. So there will be an ambulance waiting for you when you get in, because the flight from London to Bulgaria wasn't a long flight. It was too long, but it wasn't like a huge, what was it, about 4 hours maybe, I'm not sure, something like that, and maybe 3 or 4 hours. So I'm thinking, good, you get medical attention, and because anyway, because I was really worried about him, but they strapped him in. Sounds bad, doesn't it? They strapped him into a chair, I think, and looked after him on the journey, made sure that he was okay, and he had a blanket and stuff. And when I say the blanket, it wasn't like his comfort blanket that he carried everywhere that he went. "Where's my blankie? You got my blankie?" No, mate, you're 30 years old. You shouldn't need a blankie. "I want my blankie." It wasn't his blanket. It was just a normal blanket that they gave him. And when we got there, there was no ambulances. There was nout. There was none. There was zilch. I mean, there were ambulances in London. I mean, blimey, there's loads. But there was nothing waiting for him. Now, I realise it wasn't like an emergency situation, I guess. Like someone had it wasn't a life-threatening. But it could have been. You don't know, do you? We don't know. But anyway, he got no. We got there, and so I said, "Well, are you going to help him?" They said, "We don't know anything about it." So the Bulgarians, I think they lied. They just wanted us out. They wanted us out. So yeah, that was weird. And then, because I wasn't living in London, so I couldn't really do much. So I had to go to work on. I think we got back on the Friday or the Saturday. I had to go to work on the Monday, so thankfully I didn't have to look after him. I didn't live there, so I had to. I lived in a different part of the country, so it's very strange though. The whole situation is really surreal, very, very, very strange, and I think it was just. I mean, this is not alien to anyone really. I think everyone's been in a similar situation, I'm sure. But to see someone that I really cared about, I don't like to admit it, but I cared about him. He was my friend, and to see that he was helpless, and I was helpless, and there's nothing I couldn't do anything. Well, I didn't. I was just useless. I don't think I could ever be a paramedic, apart from the fact that I'm not a paramedic or trained. But even if I was, I can't drive either. But let's say if I had a driving license and I was a lot younger, I didn't have a bad back, and I loved the sight of blood. I still don't know if I could do it, because everyone's got their skill in life, haven't they? Everyone's got things that they can do. Some people can do different things. I'm still waiting to find out what I can do. I'm good at farting, that's about it. I can eat chocolate. I'm really good at eating chocolate. In fact, I'm going to have a cornetto when I finish this as a special treat. A special treat for the JJ. Yeah. I've had all the windows open all day. All day. Darby says ventriloquist. Well, I'll admit, Darby, my ventriloquist act works much better on the podcast than it does on video. That's all I'm saying. Because on the podcast, I haven't even got to have a dummy, have I? I can just... No one knows. And my close-up magic on the podcast is superb. On video, not so much. But on the podcast, my close-up magic, not just close-up, I mean, I can just do the most amazing magic tricks that you'll ever not see. It's that you'll ever hear. It's phenomenal. I can do contortionism. I can do backflips. I can do amazing stuff on the podcast. You can hear me do some brilliant things, but on video, my voice nearly broke then. It's about time. On video, I think I'm just a bit shy. I think maybe I'm not. For some reason, my wonderful technique of close-up magic, card magic, and breakdancing, and all those kinds of things, dancing on the ceiling, just can't seem to do it on a video. But on a podcast, everything opens up. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but as a sentence, but yeah, it kind of, I seem to be able to accomplish more when it's just audio. Yep, Debbie says ventriloquist isn't that the weird, when you think about what ventriloquists do, why did they give it such a hard word? I mean, it's practically impossible to spell, and saying it, ventriloquist, it's, Anyway, couldn't understand him. He was eating a sandwich. Funniest podcast, Jason. Really? When was that? I don't remember doing that. Blimey. You know what? I wish people would tell me when I do something funny, because I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I've done 700. This is the 725th recording. There's got to be some funny stuff there somewhere. I don't know. I know sometimes I say something that makes me laugh. Look in the group. We all wet ourselves. Really? All right. I need to look in the group then. Oh, I've got an itch. There was one podcast where I did get a few people mention it. Something about a poo suitcase or something. I don't know. In an airport or something. Christopher says, need to dash. Speak soon. Bedtime. Good night. See you, Christopher. You take care, mate. Debbie's, you were in hysterics. Oh, my favourite was a fart one. Okay, Darby. 543. Blimey. Number 543. That'd have been. That's last year then, isn't it? Must be. Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Wow. Number 500. I tell you what I'm doing. I'm in the middle of transcribing my recordings. I found this website called otter.ai, and admittedly I want to transcribe the Let Me Bore You to Sleep ones, because I want to find out funny bits and see if there's any way I can sort of put a little book together or something, you know, some stories or something. But I've focused on hypnosis stuff. I've focused on the more serious stuff to start with. So I transcribed all of the relaxation hypnosis for stress, anxiety, and panic attacks. So there's like, I think, 127 of those. So I transcribed all of those ones in it. But that podcast always have other things on there. Hi, Belinda. Hi. And now I'm in the process of transcribing the Deep Sleep Whisper recordings. So I've now transcribed 100. There's over 400 of those, so that is going to take probably a couple of months. Then I'm going to start working on the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. And that's probably going to take, to transcribe the 700 hours, well, it's going to be more by then, isn't it? So I think I get 6,000 minutes a month to be able to transcribe. So it's going to take me probably a year, if not more, to hi Michelle, good morning. Hiya. It's going to take, to transcribe the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, it's going to take well over a year. The Apple not liking numbers in your title. Isn't it? Darby, what? The Apple not liking numbers in your title. I mentioned that yesterday, didn't I? But that was like I noticed the thing they were referring to was, it was another different podcast host that mentioned it and put me through to Apple, because what happens the last one, what happens is a lot of the podcast apps where you can listen to any podcast, but where some people listen to my podcasts, they take they get the podcast from Apple. Does that make sense? So so they don't provide it directly themselves, and it doesn't come from Spreaker, where my Spreaker thing is, even though all of my podcasts originate from Spreaker and then go to Apple, and then then other people get it from Apple. It's this a weird kind of system. I kind of understand it, but I can't be bothered to explain it, because it's simple yet complicated. I think I don't think I can explain it in a way that sounds simple. That's why I can never be a teacher. I've got no qualifications apart from a degree. I keep forgetting that I do have a degree, but I don't have any qualifications below the degree. Isn't it weird? My highest qualification is also my lowest qualification. It's my only qualification. I left school with no qualifications. I got like uncategorized or whatever in every exam that I did at school. Like 0. I got 0 marks. I failed every single exam. So for years I was putting down that I got a B in English and a C in maths, and I think I pretty much failed in all of them. I might have got a B or a C in English, so I might be lying, but it's such a long time ago. I'm pretty sure I got a 0, like a was it a U? It basically just means that it was just nothing. It's like almost just means like you didn't turn up. It's the same mark as if you didn't turn up. But I actually turned up. I don't know why. Why did I bother? I think the mistake that the school made with exams, and I still think it's a bit of a mistake, is to let the kids leave school. Like, leave. You've left. This is what it was like back then. So it was the 5th year of high school. We left in the April. We'd finished. That was our high school finished, except for those that were coming back in the 6th form. And I wasn't invited. You have to pass exams to get into the 6th form, and I didn't pass any exams. But then we had to go in June to do the exams, I think it was. Why did I even turn up? I don't know. I guess it's conditioning. Isn't it? It's conditioning. It's like, if you had how many years of schooling, 12 years of schooling or whatever it is, you're just conditioned to kind of do what you're told to do. Even if you're like me and a lot of the time don't do what you're told, there's still a part of me does do what I'm told. In a sense, when I was at school, you know, if the teacher says, well, you've got to come in, okay. I thought it was the law. So I wasn't going along with the school. I just thought it was the law. I thought I had to do it. Like, otherwise I'd get arrested. That's what I actually thought. I was only 15. I didn't know many things back then. So, right, 68 minutes. Now normally, this is when I say goodbye, because I've done my hour. It's like doing a shift, isn't it? I've done my shift. I'm going home now. I've done it. It's break. It's dinner time. I have thought about maybe doing a live stream of every podcast, but I don't know. In some levels, in some ways, maybe it would be good, and I can share it on YouTube, and you know what I mean, I can download it, then put it onto YouTube. From that angle, I guess it would be good, but But there's also, I don't know what it's like for people listening on the podcast, because I feel like I'm not talking to the podcasters any. Like I'm talking to the video, like I'm talking to YouTube, but I am talking to the people listening on the podcast. But then when I'm talking about the people listening on the podcast, it's like I'm removing myself from... We'd stay awake watching, Darby said. Yeah, I guess that is a good point. I mean, that's... Yeah. I had a friend who used to do that. All the time. Not all the time, but he... And it's like he didn't do that. It wasn't quite... But he'd talk. I talked to him like... It was like active listening, I think. It was so annoying. Like, if you're looking at me, or in my general direction, there's only me and you in the room, and you've spoken to me and then I'm spoken to you, then I'm just assuming that you're listening. Unless the television's on, then I won't care, because I won't be listening to you, because I'll be watching the telly. But you go, what does that mean? Is it a new language? Do the different have a certain meaning compared to I don't understand. Is it like hieroglyphics, but a verbal version? I don't know. So it used to be strange. I didn't really know why. That's when I forget I'm on video. I thought about doing the bedtime story time. I don't know if anyone even watches or listens to those ones. They do. I know some people do, but I don't know what that would be. I don't know what that would be like to record whilst streaming. I think it would be strange. You like? Oh, thanks, Darby. Darby likes them. The one person I knew one person was watching them or listening to them. I knew there was at least one person. The actual the podcast itself has, I don't know, it's probably got a couple of thousand downloads, like all together. But it does, when I share it on other podcasts, people do listen. They do get downloaded, they do get listened to or streamed. I think what it is because I did YouTube for so long, that was my predominant thing. And Michelle says that would be awesome. What to do should I do that, Michelle and Darby? Should I do a bedtime story time? Jason's bedtime story time. I do that live stream. Record it for the podcast, but do a live stream of the podcast. Okay. Alright. Okay, I'll think of a story, and maybe it's going to be weird though, because I think I'll make the weirdest faces when I'm doing those stupid voices. You know, I don't know. It's going to be. And also, what you don't see, what you don't see, on the podcast is sometimes I have to stop myself from laughing. I literally have to. Sometimes I have to pause it because I'm laughing while I'm doing it. Now I can't do that on a live stream. I can. Oh, thanks, Debbie. Everyone wants it. Okay, I didn't even know anyone was listening. Is that more people said they want me to do it live than actually listen to it on the podcast? I can pause the podcast. I can't pause a live recording, a live stream. So it would be weird. But Debbie's 575. Okay, let me bore you to sleep. 750. Let me bore you to sleep. Number 575, says Debbie. Adele's songs scare me. 9:02 minutes. So 9 minutes and 2 seconds in. Adele's songs scare me. Okay. So I didn't sing any of her songs, did I? Is that when I read out the lyrics of the songs? I think, yeah. Blimey, we're going back. Is it that? So I can't even remember doing that. I can't even remember. It was funny, thank you, Debbie. I kind of remember, but you think that's like 200, about 180 episodes ago. But what the reason I noticed, because obviously she did that. Adele did that album and she did that song. And then in the X Factor, there was a young female, and I think she was like 15 years old or 16 years old, and I forget her name, and she did go on to be a star. I mean, she went on, she got kicked out of the not kicked out, but she got voted out, and it's the same year that Arthur James, or James Arthur, James Arthur won it. So I guess you're talking probably about, I don't know what year it was, and it was the UK version, and one of her songs that she sung other people's songs, and by far, in my opinion, one of the best voices I've ever seen on any of those live shows. Any of them. She was like in the top 1% point, she was like brilliant. Absolutely loved listening to her. She could hit the high notes, but her voice was amazing. But she did her own song one week, and it was kind of the same vein as I wish you well, and I hope that hope you're happy in the future, and like to a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend. And I just thought, come on, I don't think there's one person, a human being alive, man, woman or penguin, that would feel that way towards an ex, in that close to it being an ex, you know what I mean? Maybe in the future, but like not like. So where's your boyfriend? Oh, he left me for someone else. How are you feeling? Oh, I just hope he's happy. I just want. It's like yeah, sure, yeah. So that's why I kind of just. And then I discovered some of her other lyrics were also kind of a bit like that, Adele's like, oh. So I think she's super talented, and obviously she's great. I love her voice, Adele's voice, and I was a fan of hers right from the start. Was it Chasing Pavements? The very first song she released, when I first heard it and saw the video, and she was only really young herself. I think she was like 18, and I thought, yeah, this is. I loved it. I didn't know she was going to become like a superstar, but she's done it in a different way. No one's ever done what she's done before, just to release an album every maybe 4 or 5 years, or every 4 years or so. It's like, release loads of songs, sell millions of albums, have billions of YouTube views, do a world tour, and then not be seen for a few years. I mean, I've never known anyone, I can't think of any superstar that can get away with that, to get away with not being around so early in their career as well. You know, I know obviously a lot of really people like Cliff Richard, I'm trying to think of some famous singers, Tom Jones or people like that, or Elton John. They don't have to release any new songs. They're always going to have an audience, and they've got a loyal following, and they can travel the world and perform and stuff. I don't know what my point is. So there's a point. I'm just surprised that, because there's a lot of, if you look at, I look at some people like Bros, a lot of really, really big bands or really big pop groups that were huge for a little while, like huge. New Kids on the Block, they're that kind of like bands, where they're just like huge, and then they go away for a couple of years or for a year, and they come back with a new album, and no one's interested. And they don't like, what's going on? Why are you not buying me an album? I've only been gone for 18 months. Yeah, Adele goes away for years and years, like 3 or 4 years, and she comes back, and every time, huge album, huge sales. And that's something that she's got something special. I think she's amazing. However, not sure about some of the lyrics. I don't know, I just think it's really just that, like, wishing someone well when they just dumped you. Like, nah, it's a lie. And then just sort of other young females copying. And I've probably heard about 5 different songs, all with the same kind of sentiment. There was one in the last year or so that I saw, the same kind of thing, like, oh, I hope you're okay, and like, what? Really? I wish I'd met someone like you when I was young. I never met any I never had a girlfriend that when it ended that she wished me well. It's like, blimey, let's stay friends, shall we? Usually let's stay friends, it means I hope I never see you again. That's what it normally means, isn't it? I remember once I didn't end it, my girlfriend, she ended the relationship, yet she still wanted to spend about 3 hours discussing all the things that I did wrong. It's a long time ago, and I remember I was like an hour and a half in, and I suddenly realised there was absolutely no point me being there. Like, why am I sitting here listening to this? We're not in a relationship anymore. She just dumped me. And I said, this happened a couple of times. And I think the second time, no, it happened about 3 times. The second time happened 5 times. Different people. And I said, are we getting back together? Are we getting back together? Like, you dumped me, but now that we're talking, does that mean we're getting back together? She said, no, you're still dumped. I'm still going to go out with your brother. Like, oh, okay. Well, carry on. Tell me about all the bad things that how useless I am. This is really helping my self-esteem. I remember once I just stood up halfway, like, what is the point of this? Why am I listening to this? You've dumped me. I remember at one point, I remember it was once I got dumped, and then I started comforting her because she was crying and she was upset. And then I left after like making sure she was okay. And I'm walking home and I'm thinking, wait a minute, she just dumped me. What? How did that happen? It wasn't even being dumped. It's like, how did I end up comforting her? She dumped me. I should be right. Then of course I went home, wrote a song. Hope you're doing well. You know, hope you find someone better than me, because you know, yeah. Oh. I noticed that everyone's gone quiet as I've been. Some people might have been like, oh god, Jason's on a waffle now about random things. I got dumped on Boxing Day once. No joke, it really happened. See that? If everyone falling asleep. It's nothing more likely to send you to sleep than stories of my love life. Seriously. Blimey. Sometimes I write things down and I can't. That was too quick. What was too quick? I mean, Darby, you're saying that was too quick. It's not the first time that I've heard that sentence, but I'm just wondering. Oh, Debbie, pretending to be a star. Okay. So I wrote this down. This is something that, like, a little bit of wisdom that I've got to offer as I've got older. You're showing your paper. Yeah, that was my that was the recordings that I've been uploading and stuff. This is some well, it's a bit of a thingy that I want, a bit of wisdom, not wisdom, but things that I wanted to pass on to the younger generation, which is growing every day. At 51 years old, wearing white trousers is an unnecessary risk. So that's my bit of advice, bit of wisdom, bit of, you know. Talking about farting, okay? Bloody hell. Right, I want to go. Went to the opticians last week. I only realised, should I see my glasses? A lot of work. Yeah, there's a lot. You know the bits that go on your nose, the plastic bits on your glasses, the rims. I don't know, is it the rims or whatever? They changed them when I was in the opticians, because they fitted the lens back in for me on Saturday last week, and I only realised that they'd put in new ones, because the other ones were like dirty, but inside it collected a lot of kind of, I don't know, whatever. It's just that bit's so basically gave it a nice rim job. Basically just gave it a nice cleaned the rims, and either that or they replaced them. Those, you know, the bits there, I'm pointing to them on the thing, but if you're listening on the podcast, the bit that rest, the pads, the rims of the pads, they kind of cleaned them or replaced them. Darby says, but if you're going through menopause, I'm going through menopause. You know what? To be fair, I haven't got a single hormone in me. There's no hormone. I haven't had any hormones for years. There's nothing. I mean, to get an erection, I need to have a pump. Honestly, I keep it clean and suddenly it just pops out. I go, I don't know. We're definitely. You have to blow into it. Oh, you have to. I don't know. I haven't. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. What? I mean, the aging process is just weird, isn't it? It's weird because it's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know. I just don't. There's parts of it I don't mind. I can't think of any part I don't mind, to be fair, but I don't know, it's just strange. It's just the whole thing, the being invisible. 'Cause I'm pretty sure, like, you just become invisible as you get older. No one sees you. Like, I mean, you know, sometimes I'm waiting to cross the road for sometimes up to 5 minutes. Some people say, shout out with their vans, "It's a zebra crossing, just cross." But, like, people don't stop. That's part of the reason I go to the, someone said earlier, why would you get someone knock on your door this time of night? Part of the good thing about going out with my friend to the garage or the petrol station is he's got a dog, and people are more likely to stop for a dog or someone with a pram or a little kid or something, which is a good thing, obviously. But if you're just standing there, it's like they can't see me. They can't see me. It's not fair. I used to be glorious. Yeah. Right, I better go. Hour and a half. Blimey, what's the time now then? It's got to be... What day is it? Sunday, isn't it? God. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you everyone for listening to me, for watching me stream. Yeah, watching me live, making the podcast. Wear white trousers, you'll be seen. Yeah, but it's a distraction I wouldn't want to wish on anyone. And yeah. So I've just got some visuals. I do wonder though. So I'm not saying this in an assumption that women do the laundry. I'm not talking about it that way. Okay, just before I say anything, before the next thing I say. But I wouldn't, and I've never lived with anyone. Never lived with a woman. I don't think I would feel comfortable having a woman washing my underwear, because how can you be romantic after that? How I don't know. Sometimes I think, if someone washed these and saw these and put them in a washing machine, they wouldn't want to come near me. I'm joking. But I do. I used to have a laundrette lady when I lived in London. I didn't have her. She wasn't mine, but she worked around the corner. She worked in a laundrette, and she's probably one of the people I respected most in the world, because she just kept washing my underwear. She never moaned, never complained. I mean, she didn't give me cigarettes. I mean, that might have been to try and kill me off so I didn't keep coming in, but it's like anyone that does that job, and she didn't seem to judge me. She was always friendly to me. We used to have chats and everything, and she was my hero. Some would say we don't need another hero, but I say, Bonnie Tyler for example, I say we do. There's always room for another hero. Very nice lady. I should point out I have a very clean underwear. Usually. I'm not using it. I had gastroenteritis a couple of years ago. Now, I had no idea what that was or what it could do. And I never want to do that again. I've never experienced anything like it. That week, when I was better, when I actually healed, it only lasted about, a week is a long time. It lasted about a week. I had to actually book a hotel, a restaurant table, okay, and take out both the washing machine and the toilet to the restaurant for a meal, just to thank them and to apologise, basically. It was awful. Michelle says, is that because you don't wear them? Or no, I don't know. I think it'd be a bit dangly, wouldn't it? Like the yo-yos, it'd be a bit, because some trousers, like the seam comes up quite high, doesn't it, with jeans and stuff, so you'd be kind of, the yo-yos would be dangling kind of on your legs. It'd just be weird. I don't like everything scrunched up, like in a sock, but I quite like boxer shorts. But at the moment, I don't know what I've got. I nearly stood up to look. I nearly forgot I was on camera, because that's the kind of stuff I would do on a podcast. I would stand up to have a little look, just to remind myself what I'm wearing, because no one can see, can they? I just, wow. And I can't edit it because it's live, so I'd have to stop it and delete it as soon as I could. Blimey. Okay, I'm going to go now, otherwise I could be talking all night, and that's not fair on anyone. So I'm going to go. Oh please, I'm having my breakfast, Jason. Debbie, you're having your breakfast. You could have told me that when I started talking about underpants and the laundrette and gastroenteritis. I mean, come on. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you. There's not been many people listening, but I just want to say thank you, because those that are listening, I'm watching on the stream, that is on Facebook, you've interacted, and it's been really good, the really nice interactions. So thank you for participating. Carol says the live podcast is good. Thank you very much. So I'm going to go. I'm literally just going to go. So thanks, Jason, lots of love. Thanks, Debbie. You're not putting me to sleep yet. Sorry, Carol, I'm going to go now. if you listen to the podcast, it might be better because I don't know, my funny face may be a bit too distracting. So I'm going to say thank you everyone for listening on the podcast, of course. Thank you for everyone watching on the live stream. If you are listening on the podcast, maybe let me know if you found it weird me doing it as a live stream as well. I don't know. I mean, I guess with people asking me questions on the live stream, it makes it a little bit more conversational, I guess, in a way. Does that make sense? Instead of me just doing my normal boring monologue about nothing, blah 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 blah. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks Darby, Carol, Debbie. So many of you. Thank you. Apparently there's only 4 people watching, but I've had a lot of people that have actually sort of said hello. Michelle, good night. I'm going to get my day started after this. Thanks for brightening my morning. You know what, Michelle? It's really weird, the idea that you're listening to this in the morning. It's like, it's just weird. I know that I should understand the concept of different time zones by now. I should. It's just, it's one of those things that just don't make sense to me. It's just, it's like, no. It's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's like, no. You know what I mean? Just like, I think I do quite well considering that my education level is at about a 9-year-old. I do alright, don't I? Imagine what it'd be like if I actually read one of those books behind me. I read it take me about a year just to get through one chapter. I'm a very slow reader, don't you know? Michelle says, Monday morning also, that's the weird part. Wow. Well, it's a different start to a Monday morning, isn't it? So I want to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody for watching. And I might do this again. I'll definitely be doing another podcast tomorrow. I might do a live Facebook post stream. Who knows?